I'm thinking about just practice stroke once. Previous years it's been working, but with the 2 practice strokes, it was almost like relieving myself of pressure. So like, it used to be 3 when I was like a 10-year-old. Now I think I can switch over to 1. So today I'm going to work on a couple aspects on my game, specifically short game and putting. Ultimately, half of your score is dependent on putting. In recent couple months, it has not been the greatest part of my game, so it's definitely something that I want to work on this off-season. I am a very harsh critic of myself on the process of things, especially after winning Mizuho. There was a lot more attention. Correct. So people definitely had their full moments where they wanted to see if I could live up to that hype. Personally, when I'm in a little bit of a slump on the golf course, I like to do a little body scan, seeing if I'm doing what I need to prepare myself to make a really good committed stroke. Once you scan yourself there, I would say I focus a lot on just being able to see how my tempo is, because in times of pressure, I take longer. It causes me to stall.
Rose, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Rose, nice to meet you.
You ready to do some neuroscientific training?
I'm excited.
So adidas is exploring how the elite athletes deal with mental pressure, and they brought us in to figure out how to deal with that from a neuroscience point of view.
I think for golf, it's important to have good timing to things. If I stand there for too long, you lose your focus, you lose your feel.
Sometimes for some players it's like, okay, they analyze and they're in a really good mood, and then they stand here, and then they lose their focus completely.
I see.
That's the timing, so it's really important.
I see.
We have different circles set up, putting probabilities, of making it. The first one is 8 feet, 16 feet, and it's just to have a little bit like the probabilities then from putting, like I mentioned.
So when Rose is in the zone and she's managing pressure well, the electrodes will trigger a sound, and this sound will tell her that she's in that brain state.
In that moment when you're, actually going to the ball, that's when we're gonna switch on the sound.
Okay.
Maybe you can explain to me your putting procedure a little bit?
Yeah, so after I read my putt from all sides, I like to go to around the center of my putt and find a breaking point. Once I come back to my golf ball, I like to line up to that breaking point. Then I like to just get a feel of what my speed is. Once I do that, I put the putter lined up to my line, make sure my hands and everything are square and also soft. Then I putt. In.
Oh, that's a mean one though.
Oh.
Sometimes we look at live brain data and we're just saying to each other, go, 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 go. You know why? I'll show you. So with the putt before, you're in the analysis state. It's 37% more. But ideally you want it the other way around. You want to be in the zone more, analysis less.
Right.
But this one you were over here. And we see that before you do the putt. And we're like, okay, now she's in, now she's in. And we're like, go, go, go. The reason being is we want that situation right there to link up with the success. And it's just conditioning.
I'm a perfectionist, so I have to put everything perfectly. Every single line or point that I find, it needs to be exactly where I need it to be. And then when I don't feel that great about the stroke or my game in general, I take longer.
Okay.
'Cause I'm like, what is it?
But that's a very, very good thing, that even just the ability to analyze that by yourself.
Yeah. So you think I should be quicker with my execution?
Yes. It could definitely be beneficial, I think.
Oops. I'm thinking about just practice stroke once. Previous years it's been working, but with the 2 practice strokes, it was almost like relieving myself of pressure. So it used to be 3 when I was a 10-year-old. Now I think I can switch over to 1.
Yeah. Another one from over there, okay? So now I'm gonna distract her. distractions don't really matter to you that much. You know, I mean, it's quite actually incredible.
In training, my dad used to distract me on purpose. Other people, they get distracted by like spectators doing things. I don't usually stop because I don't feel it as often.
That's good. That mental dynamic, accepting more the situation if something is not perfect, you know?
Right.
That's good. But especially when you get to the big tournaments, there's also things you just can't control.
Exactly.
Right? So in those moments, like if you have this like acceptance mindset and you see, you're like, okay, if one thing is not perfect, I'm good, you know?
Exactly. Learned so much.
Yeah, it's good.
Learned so much. Thank you. It's been really great to see how my mental game is working, especially in putting and short game. The biggest thing that I really learned about was the difference in timing of just committing to every single golf shot and how fast and how slow I am. It really makes a difference on my focus, understanding what I need for timing routine-wise, and that really impacts your focus.
We went through different steps, for example, in her putting routine. So I think that's the kind of info she's going to take. And the more stable she's going to get with that routine, it's just going to help her in those really high-intensity situations. So I would recommend for young athletes or grassroots athletes to really take their time to think about those different kind of routines. If you're able to fine-tune your routine as much as you can and it suits you and your brain, you're able to, you know, deal with any kind of pressure. So this can benefit any kind of athlete out there.
I feel like no matter what you do, there's always going to be pressuring situations, important moments in your life, in your career, and regardless of whether or not you're an athlete, it's important to be able to handle those pressures, figure out what works best, how my brain functions, just being effective when you're in those big moments. That's the biggest takeaway. Under pressure.